Oh. Good morning, Daisy. Say good morning to everybody. Oh, I love you. Oh, you are so sweet. I love you. Good morning, you guys. Good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, right, Daisy? Right? She was out in the yard chewing on a bone that my neighbor had given my dogs, and so I had a little bit of peace because you're my coworker, right? We're always together. Always together. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, Facebook. We're always together because we're co-workers, right? We're best friends. Personal space doesn't matter with these guys at all. Hey? I love you. You're the best. You're so loyal. They're so sweet. My dogs are like the best, but they're annoying sometimes. Sometimes I just don't want to be touched or licked or breathed on. So you guys, this morning, it's so crazy. So this morning, I get up and I see a post, okay? I see a post that was, and I get up at, this morning I kind of slept in, so it was like around 5:30ish I got up, and I thought I was an early riser. So I see a post of one of my friends. He was showing his coffee cup, and I actually like the brand of coffee that he's talking about on his page. It's like, it's good coffee. It's like punch you in the face kind of black coffee. And that's totally my thing. Like, I know, like I always talk about the fat burning coffee that we have, et cetera, et cetera. I love it, but that's a 1 cup a day kind of coffee, not a drink 65 cups before both my eyes are open kind of coffee. So I do drink black coffee in the morning, and I seen his post, and he's got this like awesome cup, awesome brand of coffee. And he's like, yep, it's time to go to work, or whatever he said on his post, or I'm drinking this already, or whatever. And I was like, 5 hours ago, like that was like around midnight. And I'm like, well, he is a logging truck driver, so anything's possible. And so I messaged him just a little while ago, because I don't actually know if him and I have met in person, but we know a lot of the same people, a lot of the truckers in Quesnel, BC. Like, he grew up there, I grew up there, but then I left. And to tell you the truth, I don't even know if we're in the same age category or not. Like, I'm just not sure, but he's awesome. So, and he's been watching this whole online journey of mine because I used to work with those guys in Quesnel, BC. And that's where I learned how to drive truck. I was like horrible at it at first, of course, but that's where I originally got started. So anyway, I messaged him a little while ago, and I'm like, what time did you get up this morning? Because like I seen your post, and he laughs, and he shows me his alarm clocks on his phone. He's got like a bunch listed. 12:15 last night. So just after midnight, he's getting up to go to work. Okay, so let that sink in for a minute. I don't know what his hours are. Like, truck drivers don't usually have set hours. They usually have like set loads or a certain amount of kilometers you have to like build, or like depending on what kind of trucking you're into, but usually it goes by the load. So if something goes sideways and you get stuck, or something happens, or the loader broke, like you're sitting there waiting, and now your day just got a hell of a lot longer for the same amount of money, basically is what it comes down to. And so I'm like, man, oh man, like that's a blast in the past for me, because I live kind of vicariously through his page, seeing the bush roads, seeing the equipment, seeing the logs being loaded on his truck. My dad was from Quesnel. My dad has passed away now. But he would unload the logging trucks with this like massive machine at the mill. And it was always super cool when us gravel trucks, when I was just hauling gravel or hauling pulp or hauling whatever, would work in the mill yard, and I would get to see my dad. And then all of a sudden, over the radio, be like, hi, honey. And it was like, oh my gosh, Dad, where are you? And I'm looking around, and there's this massive machine sitting there. It's like, are you in that one, Dad? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. But, so here's the thing, okay? So him and I have been we're not doing anything shady, but he's been learning how to do certain things on social media, because he's like, so I want to make more money, but I'm a logging truck driver. So automatically I know that he's tired. Automatically I know that his schedule is like crazy. I didn't realize he was getting up just after midnight when we were having this conversation, but I'm like, Okay, like, I don't expect you just to, like, join with me and, like, let's go. But let me show you how it's possible. Let me show you how to even start. And so he's been making reels. And I'm like, dude, I didn't even give you, like, the full instruction on how to do it. And he freaking did it. And he's like, I don't know how to use my phone, but I'm just doing it. I'm like, oh my gosh, hallelujah. So the crazy thing is, he's getting up just after midnight to go haul logs. When I was a newly single mom, because you guys, I used to drive. And I was really trying to make a name for myself when I was new. I was young. I was a woman. I was in a very small-minded town. They're still very small-minded there. Okay? So I would have to come early. I would stay late. I would take the crappy loads. I would drive the crappy equipment. I would load my own truck. I would do whatever I needed to do. And on day 73 of hauling rock, okay, there's no days off. Like, day 73 consecutively, I can lie like a bugger on paper. Logbook, okay? So on day 73, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. My temper is like simmering, okay? Because I'm just like literally exhausted. I don't have time for nothing. I eat, I sleep a little bit, I shower, and I go again. And like, I'm on a mission to create a better life for my family. Because like, if I can bring in a lot of money, money usually fixes most problems, right? So the shit I used to do for money. I used to, wait, before I tell you. On day 74, I wake up. I don't remember what god-awful hour it was, to tell you the truth. My husband at the time says to me, I've had enough of this. You know, and things have been getting a little tense around home, okay? So he says, I've had enough of this. I mean, this is a long time ago, so I barely remember exactly the words. But basically, if you choose that truck one more time, if you go today, I won't be here when you get home. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just working. I don't hear you complaining about the money I'm bringing home. So I go to work. I get home at 8 or 9 or whatever time at night. Okay, it was never early, ever, not one time. And it was far away from town. And then I lived on the other side of town. So like, even just my drive to work was over an hour to get to my truck. I come home from work. That house is empty. Empty. He left me a chair in the living room. He left me like 4 plates, a couple bowls, some silverware. He left my coffee pot, thank God. And he left me, you know, just a few little things and my stuff. And that was it. I was like, oh my gosh. Because once he said that, I put on my work boots, I laced them up, I fired up the truck, and I said, have a good day. Because I got to go to work. I got to support, you know? And after that, I was a single mom, and things got real weird after that. Because here's what I used to do for money. I used to get my little daughter up. She was a year and a half old, I think, at the time. Maybe 2. Maybe 2. I think she was younger than little B now. I used to get her up at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. This is like 6 days a week. And I had a friend who was awesome. I had her house key. I would take her, put her in bed with my friend, and go to work. And my friend would either keep her all day or take her to daycare. And since I was never back in town to pick her up when daycare closed, my dad or my sister or my friend would pick her up from daycare and keep her. And I have something in my eyelashes. Feed her dinner, whatever. And I'd basically pick her up just in time to take her home and put her to bed. And I did that for like 3 years. It was absolutely insane. I had to change things a little bit when she was old enough to go to school. But I still worked. Like, I still, school, daycare, somebody else pick her up. School, daycare, somebody else pick her up. And I remember calling my dad one time. We lived about 20 minutes away. Like, it literally wasn't far. The town I came from is like this big. And I said, Dad. And Dad had my daughter with him. Like, he had picked her up from daycare or whatever. And I said, Dad, I'm too tired to drive up and get her. Like, I don't even remember how I got to town. That's how freaking tired I was. I was calling kilometers because I asked somebody. They're like, yeah, we heard you coming. No biggie. But I don't remember doing it because I was that freaking tired. And I also remember one other thing. I literally had something wrong with my eyelashes, like in my eye. So the other thing I remember was I was new. I was young. I was a woman. I was in a small-minded town, and I'm just learning how to drive truck, okay? I'm, like, good enough to be out in the bush, but I'm not good enough that I could be left, like, alone. So I was doing all right, okay? Like, I was doing okay. And these logging trucks, so I don't know if you guys understand how the bush roads work, but the bush roads are typically very small, usually single lane. And we use kilometers to figure out where the other trucks are, which way they're going. That way you can get the hell out of the way for the loaded guys coming back to town. And so I'm just learning all this, okay? And standard procedure is you get up at dark and you come home at dark. In the dark, you use headlights. I had my high beams on. I pulled into a pullout like I'm supposed to do. Like, I am new at the time. New. Like, I didn't know nothing about nothing. I just knew this is what I had to do. So I pull into this pullout, and that's what I was supposed to do, because I heard the logging trucks come, and I knew those guys started working super early. Like, I knew that. I didn't realize they got up at, like, midnight. Kind of stupid early, but... So anyway, the logging trucks are coming, and, I'm going, and then into a pullout, another one will come, and then I'm going into a pullout, another one will come. And I didn't turn my high beams off. So, like... The guy coming towards me in the logging truck, he was very nice about it, very calm, very under control. He's like, can you turn your high beams off? He's like, I can't see the road. And I'm like, oh, yeah, so totally. So little things like that kind of put me on the right track to being allowed to, like, go play with the guys out there. You know what I mean? But then towards the end of the day, they weren't so nice. And it wasn't just me, okay? There's like, 20 of us gravel trucks out there, and we're all in everybody's way because we're trying to do our job. They're trying to do their job. And the logging trucks were always so, like, grouchy. They just weren't happy people. Unless you could catch them at like 3 or 4 a.m. Then they were like pretty happy, pretty nice people. But after that, no. But now I understand why. It's because these guys are running on like fumes at all times, I think. I don't know what their schedules are like anymore. I've been out of it for quite a while now. I moved away from that town about 15 years ago. Trust me, I'm still scarred from living there, but I moved away about 15 years ago, and I started my own life, and I, found myself, and whatever, we're here now, okay? But that was normal to me. That was normal. Getting up at 2 a.m. with your child to go drop her off at daycare, go to work, and then she'd go to, at your friend's house, and then she'd go to daycare, and then she'd go to another babysitter, and then my dad would pick her up from there, and then I'd pick her up just to put her in bed. Like, that was my normal. So, like, trucking is definitely a way of life, and I think it would probably be the same with, like, something like maybe nursing or, like, a camp job. Like, you just get used to the crap. You get used to not having certain things. You get used to, being able to afford. You can pay somebody else to do the stuff that you should be doing in your life. I used to pay people to do everything for me because I just literally wasn't home. After my husband left, I moved, and I had this really pretty little townhouse. It was just gorgeous. It was white, and it had marble, and it had a fireplace, and I bought furniture because I had like money. But I just didn't have any time. And so my brand new looking beautiful townhouse, like, it was gorgeous, was covered in the thick layer of dust. Then I was never home. I didn't, sorry, Instagram. You became unsticky there for a second. Hang on. There we go. I just dropped Instagram. The only thing I ever used in my house was a couple coffee cups and a coffee pot. TV, couches, bedroom furniture, everything was just layered dust. And that's how I used to make a living. It's absolutely crazy. But talking to him, really like, I was like, oh, blast from the past. Oh my gosh, I remember how grouchy you guys used to be. And that's what I used to do. That's how I used to live. That's how I used to survive. I wouldn't really call it living, but, you know, and doing what I do now. And I'm starting to be able to show other people that immediately counted themselves out. They're like, oh, well, maybe this is possible. I mean, one piece of content can pay you for years. And it can pay you 3 or 4 different ways, depending on what you do. And it's literally not complicated. You just have to be willing to do it. But most importantly, be consistent while you do it. You know, don't try and be somebody else. Don't try and make up this crazy story. You know, if you see my page and you see me talking about my story will be exactly the same, only 5 years added on, because that's my story. It's the truth. It's what I used to do. This is how much money I make. This is, you know, the things I had to do to get here. Like, it's literally never going to change. So as long as you're going to do it, be super real. You don't have to air all your dirty laundry on Facebook or nothing like that, but be super real, be consistent, and just give it a shot. Because once you figure out how to monetize what you're already doing or what you're about to learn how to do, it's an absolutely crazy, beautiful thing. So let's talk about bonuses for a minute. I worked so bloody hard. I did anything they needed me to do. Anything. Come early, stay late, take last load, load everybody else, do this, do that, grease the truck, blah, blah, blah. Anything. Okay. I never got bonuses. I never got nothing. Sometimes, maybe, on a really, really, really big, good day, they would fuel my pickup up with fuel from their fuel card. That was a massive bonus. And if that happened like once every 6 months, like, I was living the good life. Like, damn. You know, to me, that was a bonus. I've made $24,000 in the last 4 months in just bonuses. Just bonuses, just by doing what I teach everybody else how to do. And that's what I want for everybody, because I will never take credit for it. That's you. You're going to do this. But what gets me excited is when you tell me, oh my God, you know, we had this massive disaster. We had to replace our furnace. We had to do this. We had to do that, and Christmas and a trip. And, you know, my father got sick and I had to leave, and I went to a different town and I had to stay, and I had to pay for, you know, a hotel, or something happened, or my child got sick and we have to go live in a different city for a few months. And it's okay because I paid for it in cash. That's why I do what I do. And that's what I want for absolutely anybody who will give me 90 days of their time. That's the power of what we do. And that's the reality of what I used to do for money, for a lot less money, like a lot less money. Trucking could never touch the online income, the potential of it. And you guys, like, I lost my marriage over it. I mean, I'm not really upset about it. It was probably for the best. Not gonna lie, it was probably for the best. The man did leave my ass because I chose a really not so pretty Kenworth over him. And I'm not sorry. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. You guys have an amazing day. I have a meeting coming up. A really important meeting coming up, but I'm really excited about it. And then I'll see you guys later. So if you have any questions, always reach out. I'll give it to you straight anytime. Okay? Bye, Facebook. Bye, Instagram.